There is a secret truth you carry, one you rarely admit to anyone, perhaps not even to your therapist. It's the fear that you are a carrier. You look at your children, the way they sleep, the way they trust, the way they occupy space with such effortless belonging, and a part of you freezes. You wonder if the toxin of your upbringing is hidden in your DNA. You wonder if, in a moment of stress or exhaustion, the ghost of your own parent will suddenly speak through your mouth. You are terrified that because you were raised in a house of mirrors, you don't know how to see a child for who they truly are. You've spent years feeling like a broken vessel. You've felt like someone who is fundamentally less than, because you had to spend your childhood surviving instead of growing. You believe that because your foundation was cracked, any house you build, including your own family, is destined to tilt. But there is something most people never tell you. The very things that were used to break you, the hyper-attunement, the scanning of rooms, the deep, aching sensitivity to the smallest shift in mood, are the exact things that make you a magnificent parent. You aren't a broken vessel. You are a master architect of safety. Because you know exactly what it feels like to be invisible. You are the only one who truly knows how to make a child feel seen. Let's talk about the way you parent today. You notice the slight quiver in your child's lower lip before they even realize they're sad. You hear the change in their footsteps in the hallway. You can sense the energy of the room the moment you walk in, checking for the invisible tripwires of tension that dominated your own youth. Psychology has a name for this. It's called hyper-attunement. In your childhood, this was survival. You learned to read a room before you could read a book. You learned to decode the sighs, the slammed cupboard doors, and the heavy silence of a narcissistic parent who used their emotions as a weapon. You became an emotional meteorologist, constantly checking the clouds to see if a storm was coming. And for a long time, you viewed this as a burden. You viewed it as anxiety. But look at how it translates to your child. Instead of a child having to scream to be heard, they are met with a parent who hears their whisper. Instead of a child having to perform to be loved, they are met with a parent who sees their essence. You know the weight of a parent's conditional gaze. You know what it feels like to be a prop in someone else's play. You know what it feels like when love is a reward for good behavior rather than a birthright. And because you know that pain so intimately, you have made it your life's mission to ensure your child never tastes it. That is not brokenness. That is a heroic level of empathy. You are using a survival skill to build a sanctuary. The world sees you as a good parent, but they don't see the engine running under the hood. They don't see the way your nervous system is calibrated to a higher frequency. When your child is upset, your body doesn't just hear them, it vibrates with them. This is the witness wound. When you were a child, there was no one to witness your internal world. When you were hurt, you were told you were too sensitive. When you were angry, you were told you were ungrateful. You learned that your internal reality didn't matter. Only the parent's reality existed. So your brain developed a stethoscope for the soul. You became an expert at monitoring the internal states of others because it was the only way to stay safe. If you knew how they felt, you could predict what they would do. Now, as a parent, you use that same stethoscope on your child. But here's the pivot. In your childhood, your empathy was a tool for your safety. In your parenting, your empathy is a tool for their safety. You provide the mirror you never had. When your child is overwhelmed, you don't tell them to stop crying because it's inconvenient for you. You don't make their pain about your ego. You sit in the dark with them. You hold the space. You are doing the hardest work a human being can do. You are giving a gift you never received. It is easy to be a good parent when you were raised by one. It is a biological miracle to be a good parent when you were raised by a narcissist. It's like building a garden in a desert, using only the water you saved from your own tears. There is a specific kind of grief that hits survivors of narcissistic abuse when they become parents. It usually happens in a quiet moment. Maybe you're tucking them in. Maybe you're watching them play with a toy. And suddenly, a wave of profound sadness washes over you. It's not because something is wrong. It's because everything is right. You look at your 4-year-old and you realize, they are so small. They are so innocent. How could anyone have ever been mean to me when I was this age? In seeing your child's worth, you are finally seeing the tragedy of your own childhood. You are realizing that the monster you were told you were was actually just a small, frightened version of the beautiful child sitting in front of you. This is the peak of the mountain. This is where the warrior parent is born. You parent with a fierce, protective quality because you are protecting the child in the room and the child you used to be. You are breaking a generational curse that might be hundreds of years old. You are the circuit breaker. The trauma traveled through your lineage, hand to hand, bruise to bruise, silence to silence, until it hit you, and you said, no further. You chose to feel the pain instead of passing it on. You chose to do the therapy. You chose to look at your triggers. You chose to apologize to your children when you lose your cool, something your parents never, ever did. That apology is the most magnificent thing about you. It proves that your ego is not the center of your universe. Your child's well-being is. So, why are you magnificent? Because you don't take safety for granted. For other parents, safety is just the default setting. For you, safety is an intentional creation. It is a masterpiece you paint every single day. You are a safety architect. You create a home where mistakes are allowed. You create a home where no is a respected word. You create a home where emotions are data, not crimes. You provide hyper-vigilant empathy. You use that old, tired scanning mechanism to ensure your child feels included, understood, and cherished. You are teaching them that they have a self. Narcissists don't want their children to have a self. They want them to have a function. They want an audience, a scapegoat, or a trophy. But you want a person. You watch your child develop their own weird interests, their own stubborn opinions, and their own unique voice. And instead of feeling threatened by their independence, you celebrate it. Every time you let your child disagree with you without punishing them, you are healing a piece of the world. Every time you prioritize their peace over your image, you are proving that the cycle has ended. If you are listening to this and you feel that familiar weight in your chest, that fear that you aren't doing enough, or that you're still too much, I want you to take a breath. The fact that you are even worried about being a good parent is the ultimate proof that you are one. Narcissists don't worry about being narcissists. They don't watch videos like this. They don't wonder if they are hurting their children. They don't lie awake at night wondering how to be softer. The shadow of doubt you carry is actually a sign of your conscience. It is the light of your love trying to find its way through the fog of your past. You have become the person you needed when you were small. You have built a bridge over a canyon of trauma and you are walking your children across it to a land you've never seen, but one you've dared to imagine. You are not damaged goods raising children. You are a survivor, a cycle breaker, and a hero. Your children won't remember you as someone who was perfect. They will remember you as the parent who was there, the parent who listened, the parent who made the world feel safe. You have done enough. You are enough. It's okay to put down the armor now. Your children are safe. And because of you, they always will be. Rest in that truth.